Well, today I've come to Holbeck Cemetery in the city of Leeds in Yorkshire in the UK. Holbeck is one of the major industrial areas of Leeds, or it was one of the major industrial areas of Leeds. I'm going to pan round and just show you the appearance that you get if you come in the entrance on Fairfax Road. Some quite interesting stones over there and some big monuments over there. So let's go exploring and see what we can find. Some rather nice decoration on this one. This is Elizabeth, the beloved wife of Joseph Bottomley, 1884. Another nicely decorated stone here. Elizabeth, the wife of William Pape. John E. Hurd, 1880. James Cudworth. Now clearly the forte of the stonemason at this period is putting flower decorations on the stones. The one next to it is to George Wordsworth, and again you've got the flowers above his name. There's a change here because amongst the flowers we have the dove, and this is John Brown of Holbeck, 1886. Another one in a similar style. This is William Hemsley of Cattle, late of the Holbeck Football Club. And again the floral decoration for Jane Emma, the wife of Christopher Downes. One here with the decoration again, and that's Harriet, the wife of Charles Walter Sheard, a draper of Holbeck. Here's one in a different style. This one is to Mary Jane, the wife of Stephen Atkinson, a slate merchant in Leeds. There really are some great monuments here, really nicely done. This one here is to Joseph Burnhill of Holbeck, who it says was a railway guard. This one's to Arthur Cole, and Mary Ann, his wife of Holbeck, was actually born in Barnstable, down in North Devon. Here we mention Benjamin Gledhill, for 27 years connected with the Leeds Town Mission. The Holbeck Cemetery is on a hill overlooking the city, rather an excellent spot to be. I can pan round and I can show you part of the view of the city from the cemetery. Some very elaborate decoration on this one. Again, it's flowers, roses, poppies. Right over here in the corner is Trooper R.W. Belfield, King's Own Hussars, Royal Armoured Corps, 1939, just 18 years old. Now this one here is interesting because not only is it in a similar format to many others with the flower at the top and the curved arch, but where the inscription is on a sort of a concave, like a pillow. It curves out and curves back in again. Very carefully carved that. It's very difficult to do, I imagine. Four plain stones here. We've lost the decoration. 4 in a row. Top name there is John Atkinson. We've got William G. Wilson, John H. Greenwood, and Joseph Greenhill. Now the stones have a number of names on them, and I'm wondering if these are what they call Guinea Graves, when people couldn't afford a proper burial plot but didn't want them just to be lost in a common grave. They would pay a guinea to have the name of the person engraved on a stone along with many others. So this one, for instance, got Atkinson, Smith, Palmer, Hurst, Ryman, Longbottom, Marwood, Chadwick and Doherty. So I think these are what you would call Guinea Graves. And there are some more close by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 names on this stone. And adjoining it again, multiple names. And the one here which is falling forward. And going back a row, there are a number of them now. Plainish stones with just the name, date and age on, but multiple names. Whole rows of them running up there. and yet more. I don't think I've ever found a graveyard with so many of these. Numerous names on this stone, and when we walk to the one next door, more names. And this is another row here. And if I look back past the stone that's fallen over, there's 2 or 3 over there with a list of names on it. This graveyard has numerous of these stones with multiple names. There's a row of 10 up there. There's 2 or 3 across there. And as I look down here, there are rows of them, each of them containing on average 10-12 names. Sarah Ann, the beloved wife of Emmanuel Chapman, a fish salesman of Benmeechie House, Holbeck. Fish salesman. First time I've seen that on a gravestone. One here to Alfred Salt, a machine maker of Holbeck. This was a major engineering area. A tall obelisk here, and the inscription is to George Richardson of Holbeck, an engineer. This one here is to Francis Sutcliffe, a painter, and the decoration up here is a palette with a brush. A nice clean design on this, quite different from anything else around. And Tunstall, widow of the late John Tunstall. And here we've got Joseph Harrison, a butcher of Meadow Road. He was just 44 when he died. This one's a little more elaborate, and the inscription is to Elizabeth Ann, the wife of Joshua Wordsworth, an organ builder of Leeds. Here we've got mention of James and Mary Hainsworth, and he was a shopkeeper of Holbeck. And I just can't get over the number of these stones with the multiple names on. 3 there, 5 falling over there, 2 back there, and right over the back there, a complete wall of them. Must be 20 of them, each with 10, 15 names on. More over there. I'm panning around, I'm still seeing these stones with the multiple names. Or apparently are the Guinea Graves. Quite amazing. I'll include this one. It's standing on its own, and it's at a perilous angle. It won't be there for much longer. So before it falls and is lost, this is Sarah, the beloved wife of Thomas Lindsay and Thomas. Very elaborately carved one here. We've got 2 ladies either side of a scroll with a shield on it. And at the top it says Hannah, the wife of John Marshall, lithographer. And as we move down the stone, we see there John Marshall, FRAS. One that stands taller than most of them round here. And at the bottom here we have the inscription John Wilson, joiner and builder. Sad story on this one. Part way down, Thomas, the son of the above, who was killed at the Atlas Engineering Works, Sydney, New South Wales, 1878, and he's interred in Rookwood Cemetery, New South Wales. Then below that we've got Joseph, the eldest son of the above, who was accidentally killed in Poplar, London. Unfortunate family. War grave here amongst all the older stones. Sergeant Pickerill, Royal Marine Commando, 1947, aged 27. Here's one to E.T. Jones, that's Evan Thomas Jones. It says here, champion swimmer of the world. He won a number of swimming races. He did plan to swim the English Channel, but never actually got around to doing that. Quite a well-known person in his time, died 1904. I love this one next door, John Thomas Jones, mustard maker of Holbeck. An inscription here part of the way down the stone, Thomas Clarkson, one of the Leeds Pals, one of the regiments that went to war in the First World War, died July the 12th, 1916 from wounds received in action in France, aged just 17 years old. It's interesting how amongst all these old stones you get some of these war memorial graves just interspersed amongst them. This is S. Minshull, Ordinary Seaman, the Royal Navy, HMS Glendower, 1941, age 21. And close by, almost surrounded by this rose bush, Tom Therelfall, Royal Air Force, 1918, age 24. Very early in the days of the Royal Air Force. In the previous year it was the Royal Flying Corps. I always enjoy the unusual names on some of the stones. This one is to Hollingworth Murgatroyd. Hollingworth Murgatroyd. I've gone a little further into the graveyard now, and there is row upon row of these stones with the multiple names on. I can see 7 rows at the moment. Every one of them has numerous names, dates, ages, that's all. Here's the detail on one. I've just picked one at random. So we've got just a succession of dates as they died. May the 28th, this is 1927. June the 2nd, June the 13th, 14th, 16th, 19th, 20th, August. Just mixed up. Just people wanted to be remembered. They were basically buried in a commoner's grave, but they paid the money and had a name engraved on these stones. One next door very similar, and so on down this row. One here to Francis Pratt, who was a locomotive inspector, who died in 1886. Not many angels in this graveyard, so I'll show you this one. This is John Oates Dunderdale, and he's being looked after by this young angel with her hands in prayer. The one here to John William Hargraves. He's being looked after by this mourning lady hanging onto the cross. A little bit of Art Deco here, although it's missing one of its 2 columns on the left. And this is Annie Elizabeth Bowes, 1934. Sadly, a lot of damage in this area with the stones pushed over. Great shame. Holbeck Cemetery has been absolutely fascinating. We started off with some stones which were highly decorated with flowers. Every one of them had a different sort of display of flowers engraved on it. Then we had the Guinea Graves. I have never seen so many Guinea Graves. There are more stones with multiple names on than there are stones which do not have multiple names on. There's a lot of devastation in this graveyard, a lot of stones broken. It really does need looking after, but despite that I've really enjoyed this visit here. A lot to see, very interesting place. I would recommend it. Do come and have a look, it's worth the trouble. Holbeck Cemetery in Leeds. Till the next time.